This is The Download from Sounds Profitable, your daily source for the essential news of the business of podcasting. Brought to you by Spreaker from iHeart. I'm Tom Webster. Here's what you need to know for today, Wednesday, February 14th. Happy Valentine's Day. That's a thing you need to know. First, from eMarketer, most B2B content marketers have trouble creating the right content for their audience. Back in July 2023, Content Marketing Institute and Marketing Profs surveyed over 1,000 B2B marketers. When asked about their top content creation challenge respondents' teams faced, the top result, at 57%, was creating the right content for the audience. Even with the challenges involved, B2B doesn't seem to be fading, as new deals are announced, like French holding company Havas reestablishing a B2B division with the acquisition of Ledger Bennett. And podcasting is the place to be making it. Take the recent research from Lower Street back in September that found 55% of business owners surveyed are daily podcast listeners. And if a company is already creating a podcast that properly serves the all-important brand fan base, they will have already done the hard work of creating something that sells why a B2B audience should care about the brand. Next, the value of measuring the upper funnel for podcast ads. Brand campaigns focusing on upper funnel objectives, namely awareness and messaging, are the fastest growing segment of podcast ad spend, according to IAB PwC data from last year's U.S. podcast ad revenue study. With that in mind, Paul Rismandel shares advice on how to best leverage the funnel as a direct response brand without skipping important steps. The tried and true call to action with a promo code became synonymous with podcast advertising in the late 2010s. But if a new brand launches straight into doing that in their podcast ads, they've accidentally made an ad that tries to capitalize on their upper funnel awareness without having done that step. Skipping the upper part of the funnel or only counting conversions as a measure of upper funnel performance could hinder long-term success as one resorts to strategies like oversaturating the market in an attempt to find more reach. Edison Research has put out the top 50 podcasts in the U.S. for last quarter. The top 50 chart is back based on surveys of 5,356 weekly podcast listeners age 13 and up from Q4 of last year. The top three shows remain unchanged, which are The Daily, Crime Junkie, and The Joe Rogan Experience in their usual ascending order. The true standout of this quarter is New Heights with Jason and Travis Kelce, making its top 10 debut in 6th place. What makes this particularly noteworthy is New Heights sat at 67th place in Q3. What changed in the intervening time? Well, Travis Kelce's relationship with Taylor Swift went public, causing a flood of diehard Swifties to become listeners in the 2023 equivalent of Beatlemania. Listenership has increased 4.5 times the numbers from Q3, and the audience makeup of the Kelce Football Chat Show has now shifted to be 50% female. And in the rest of the news, Meghan Markle has signed with Limonada to distribute the royal couple's Archetypes podcast, plus develop a new podcast. And Business Insider takes a look into how Mr. Ballen became a true crime podcast empire. By the way, speaking of Mr. Ballen, if you're in Austin for South by Southwest this March, the Sound Summit Day of Podcasting, hosted by Sounds Profitable, and I'll be there with Brian Barletta and the rest of us here, will be featuring a panel with Jonathan B. Allen himself, discussing the business of true crime. Be sure to check out the links to every article mentioned right in your podcast listening app or at soundsprofitable.com, where you can also subscribe to the newsletter version. The Download is written and produced by Brian Barletta, Gavin Gaddis, and me. For Sounds Profitable, I'm Tom Webster. Download us again tomorrow.